but we listen to guide, and then we give feedback from our own reflections. Today, day 2 is dedicated to basic and secondary education. Everything around basic and secondary education. And the breakout sessions and the panel discussions will also go in that light. And tomorrow, day 3, is dedicated to technical and vocational education, TVET. So it is important for us to understand the flow and the linkages of the 3 days so that we don't miss anything. The breakout sessions are very, very crucial. They are very important to the organizers of this program, to the state government, to the country, and to our development partners. Please participate in the breakout sessions and give your voice, give your opinion. A sentence can change the course of the destiny of many of our learners. And then for small housekeeping, today we have only 2 entries, exit and entry. The main entrance that we used yesterday, and then the vendor's entrance. Please let us comply. Conveniences are all outside. There won't be not much protocol. We will just go straight to paper 1 today, which is enhancing learning outcomes. And like we said, everything that we do in education is to improve learning outcomes. How do we improve it? How do we track the improvement? How do we monitor it? How do we strengthen the system of improving learning outcomes? May I call on the first paper presenter? Okay. Yes. So our first paper presenter is Emily Kostner from FHI 360, which Zara Maishanu, Haja Zara Maishanu, will present. Haja Zara, you are welcome. Can we appreciate Haja Zara?
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. Good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor to speak here today in Kaduna, fondly known as the Cibiyar Ilimi, the Center of Learning. This title is more than a slogan. You will all agree with me that it really reflects a deep history of resilience in education in the state. And I'm honored to be starting off our second day of session for the EduPACT Summit with the discussion on how we can enhance learning outcomes in a place with such a strong educational identity. Just like the first speaker mentioned, yesterday we discussed about expanding access to education, and today we will discuss about what is really needed to improve the quality of education itself. And in this presentation, apologies. In this presentation, I will be providing an overview of foundational skills and why they really matter. We'll also discuss literacy and numeracy achievements in Kaduna State, and then we'll provide a systems perspective and key priority interventions for strengthening and improving learning outcomes, and then I will summarize the core recommendations. Now, as we all know, foundational skills really refers to basic reading, writing, and mathematics skills. And these are the building blocks that learners must put in place to succeed in post-basic education and many employment sectors, similar to the foundation holding the building in the picture. Now, evidence shows that lack of basic skills has a dramatic impact on an individual's adult life. And globally, an illiterate individual earns between 30 to 42% less than a literate individual. And in this summit, we will also be discussing tomorrow digital transformation and technology. And in that area also, literacy and mathematics are also essential because they are the building blocks for digital communication. Now, what are the literacy and numeracy achievements of children and young learners in Kaduna State? The most recent Nigerian education data survey NET shows that about 54% of children ages between 4 to 16 cannot read a single word in English or in any of the major Nigerian languages. Similarly, the result shows that almost 50% of these learners in this same age group, 4 to 16, cannot complete a single addition problem. Now, these outcomes might be better than other states in the country. However, they are still very low and below the national average and far below global benchmarks and standards. Now, this begs the question of what can we do to really improve learning outcomes? The answer is really not simple, because evidence shows that there are many factors, systemic factors actually, that really influence learning outcomes, including these 10 that are displayed here. Now, what does that mean? All these factors really need to come together before we can actually see a huge or a leap in learning gains or learning achievement. So, for example, materials are really key in improving learning outcomes. In literacy, we cannot teach how to read in abstract. Children really need to have books to practice their reading with. They also need exercise books. They need pencils to practice their writing. They also need books, again, to actually improve in their numeracy. However, materials enough cannot improve learning outcomes. We need to train teachers. We need to have teachers in classroom. We need to support teachers. We need to mentor and coach them before we can actually improve learning outcomes. Yesterday, we had a paper around safeguarding and how safeguarding issues affect children and their learning outcomes. So safeguarding issues also need to be addressed. Another key systemic factor is absenteeism. If children are not in the classrooms as often as they need to be, teachers are also not in the classrooms as often as they need to be, it will be very difficult to improve learning outcomes. A fact sheet for school opening was distributed in this hall yesterday. It was a study conducted by Delft here in Kaduna, which indicated a huge loss in learning time in the last academic session. And I quote, or perhaps paraphrase, although schools normally open from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Kaduna State, and that's roughly around 5 hours from Mondays to Thursdays, the average daily instructional time is about 3.5 hours daily, and that is a huge loss on time for learning. Other factors also contribute: remedial opportunities, school infrastructures, parents and community engagement, curriculum, and other factors that are not listed here. So, I wanted to actually share this framework to provide an understanding of the complexity of improving learning outcomes. However, as Kaduna State considers the most important avenues for action, it is also very important to really prioritize the most important factors as well as the factors that the state is well positioned to influence. And therefore, in this presentation, I'll be focusing mainly on evidence, current challenges, and then provide some recommendations for 3 critical factors, which are materials, teachers, and monitoring. Now, looking at materials, evidence shows that teaching and learning materials are really essential to learning outcomes. A study of 21 African countries found strong correlations between student achievement and possession of textbooks. Evidence also shows that materials are more effective when teachers are trained to use them. So that simply means that it's not enough to provide materials. We need to actually train teachers on how to use these materials to effectively improve learning outcomes. And in terms of the characteristics of these books, the learner books need to be age appropriate in content and also in the font size that we provide to learners. Contextually and linguistically appropriate. The books also need to be reviewed for inclusive messaging, and then they need to be reusable for scale-ups. For teachers' guides, the evidence shows structural guides containing daily lessons for teachers improve lesson deliveries. Now, in terms of the challenges for Kaduna State, for materials specifically, 2 main challenges. Inadequate teaching and learning materials, 1, and when these materials exist, there's inadequate utilization of the materials. So to improve this, we need to really build textbook procurements into our annual budget. It's really also not enough to provide the funds to print the books. It's equally of importance to use technologies like the track and trace. Thank you. Technologies like the track and trace to ensure that the produced books are actually delivered to the LGEAs, to the schools, but most importantly, that the books reach the hands of the learners. We also need to ensure that, like I mentioned earlier, teachers are trained on how to utilize these resources to support learning improvement. Then we will also need to ensure all schools are trained in book management. The second factor, apologies, it appears we're having a bit, okay. The second factor that I wanted to discuss is around teacher shortages, resulting to overcrowded classroom, which reduces the effects of materials that are being provided, the teacher trainings, and every other intervention or support we provide to schools. And this is an example of a typical overcrowded classroom. Now, this graph uses data from the PLANE project to show how class sizes really affect learning outcomes. So we have 2 lines at the bottom. We have the blue line, which represent classrooms that have under 40 learners, so small class size. Then we also have an orange line that representing an overcrowded classroom, having more than 40 learners in that class. Now, on the left side of the graph is low resource classrooms, meaning we do not have materials in the classes. We also have not trained teachers in those classes. Now you will notice that the learning outcomes for children from both large classes and the overcrowded classrooms and the small size classrooms are almost at the same level. And that's the left-hand side of the graph. Now, once you move to the right side of this graph, showing highly resourced classroom. In these classes, we have trained teachers for both the overcrowded classrooms and the small-sized classrooms. We have provided materials. But you will notice that the learning outcomes differ once you get to that side of the classroom. That's when we really see the difference. And the gap in the learning outcomes will continue to widen as the gap in the class sizes widen. Therefore, to get the maximum benefit of all the teacher trainings that we conduct, all the materials that we provide, it is essential really to reduce class sizes. Now, in terms of challenges, the current ratio of learners to a teacher, at least in the 6 plain intervening LGEAs, is 79 learners to 1 teacher, against the state's target of 45 learners to 1 teacher. And the shortages, we know, are actually more severe in the rural areas where you will find perhaps maybe just 2 teachers, or even in some cases, 1 teacher who is also the head teacher in the schools. To mitigate the challenges of teacher shortages and overcrowded classrooms, we need to hire additional qualified teachers. In some cases, redeploy teachers from where they are concentrated to where they are really needed. We need to provide adequate classrooms and then provide incentives for rural posting so that we can retain the teachers that are posted in the rural communities. Now, the third factor is looking at monitoring and coaching. It is really not enough to train teachers only. These teachers, as we know, require an ongoing support at the classroom and also at the school level in the form of mentoring and coaching. Research indicates that teacher coaching can enhance teacher effectiveness and learner achievement, and that coaches benefit from structured tools to guide them in their coaching activities. Now, it is worthy of mentioning that in Kaduna, the PLAN program have successfully trained some SSOs and selected LGEAs to use digital tools to observe teachers and then provide feedback, which goes directly to a dashboard for analysis. And this is a sample of a coaching dashboard from data that SSOs collected. Now, this kind of dashboard can enable education managers to quickly identify and solve problems at school level. For coaching challenges in Kaduna, we know that we have shortages of SSOs, which limits the coaching and mentoring that teachers receive. Many SSOs have not been trained in coaching or digital monitoring, and that many SSOs lack transport stipends to visit schools. In terms of way forward, we need to hire additional SSOs and provide them with training on coaching and mentoring. Ensure SSOs have transport stipends to enable them visit even the remotest schools in our localities. Then we also need to streamline data systems to ensure that the data collected by the SSOs is actually analyzed, and that it's beyond analyzing, the education managers are actually utilizing it to make informed decisions. In summary, to retain teachers, the critical inputs that are really required to improve quality includes building textbook procurements and delivery into our annual budgets, ensuring that teachers and schools are trained on material use and management, hire additional qualified teachers to reduce classroom overcrowding, provide incentives for rural postings, and then hire additional SSOs and provide them with the required training to support teachers at classroom level, and then streamline data to ensure data collected is actually analyzed and utilized. In this summit, we are making a pact with one another. The inputs I have presented today are critical quality inputs to achieve credible learning outcomes. Let's work together to put the C in the EduPACT into action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, let's appreciate Hajia Zara Meishano once again. She has indeed opened the conversation to breach the gap when we're talking transformational educational system for Kaduna State. And of course, now the ball is in your court. She has set the foundation level. And foundation, of course, is the bedrock and the benchmark of building a very strong education system anywhere in the world. And next, of course, we're supposed to have our next speaker, but from the look of things, we'll have to tweak the program. Of course, we know that we're supposed to be talking scaling inclusive access across Kaduna diverse communities practice, bringing out-of-school children and reintegrating them into the system and promoting inclusion, and also the digital drive.
Thank you. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is good to have all of you back here for the day 2 of this very important summit. Like it was earlier introduced by my colleagues, today we are going to be very timely, and by the special grace of God, we'll finish all our engagements as scheduled. And may I invite for a short interlude before our next presenters get ready. So, DJ.
All right, while we wait for the DJ to set up, let's ponder on some thoughts concerning what has been said. Once again, welcome to day 2 of the KADA EduPACT International Summit. And I'm sure that all of you are prepared, to share ideas and explore opportunities to provide a platform where our children, the Nigerian child, will not be left out. And of course, you have a stake, and we know that your stake will definitely make the desired impact. I'm sure our DJ is ready for us now.
They try to tear us apart, say we are not made for each other, tell you things about me so unflattering. Thought I found someone new and you have forgotten me. All day long, it never ends. Could you come back home? It feels like hell. One lady walk with you, or I'll be laughing shaking. If I'm out for you, me so no. Or a while of feel shaky. If you're my fortune, you so know. One lady walk with you, or a me love feel shaky. Is this the end of the road? Where love will take us, no one knows. 1,000 miles across the sea. Is it too far to keep you away from me? All day long, it never ends. Could you come back home? It feels like hell. One lady walk with you, or I'll be laughing shaking. If I'm not for you, me so no. One lady walk with you, or a while of feel shaking. If I'm not for you, me so no. One lady walk with you, or a me love feel shaking. If I'm not for you, me so no. Hello.
All right, thank you very much, DJ. Distinguished guests, please let's get settled. Next up, before we bring in our lead speakers for paper presentation, we have a very short presentation right now. Of course, we know the challenge we're talking about when we're talking reintegrating and, of course, integrating the digital innovation into the learning system. So we're going to have a short presentation called Success Tab by Koyejo Oluwatosin. Please put your hands together for Mr. Koyejo Oluwatosin. He has a very short presentation on how to promote digital innovation in our educational system. Please appreciate him once more.
Developed by Chronicles Software, Success Tab is a powerful digital learning tablet built for Nigerian students. With over 400 top schools already using it, students are acing JAMB and WAEC with confidence. Success Tab offers online classrooms and future skills platforms like Udemy and Coursera right from the device. Its offline digital library includes smart readers, biographies, and quality textbooks curated by experts. The SuccessBox CBT platform simulates real exams for JSCE, JAMB, and WAEC with past questions and speed tests. Smart analytics help students track performance, improve accuracy, and build exam readiness. Beyond academics, Success Tab develops 21st century skills through games, productivity apps, and study tools. Social apps like YouTube and Chrome are time limited and parent regulated for safe digital learning. SmartLock and Purple Browser ensure online safety while teachers and parents stay in control. Teachers teach smarter, parents stay engaged, and students learn better, faster, and smarter. Schools benefit from improved results, increased prestige, and digital transformation. Available in Pro Slate and Elite models, Success Tab comes with flexible payment plans and full support. Success Tab empowers Nigerian students to learn, lead, and succeed in today's world. Visit www.successtabs.com or call 0803769932 or 080.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I said good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, organizers, for giving us the privilege to have this short presentation. My name is Oluwakoyejo Oluwatosin, co-founder, CEO of Chronicle Software Development Company. I'm standing here as one person that knows that this country can work. The company that I represent started from the classroom in the university with my colleagues, and in 3 months' time will be 18 years since we started. We have continued to innovate teaching and learning across the country, and we pioneered one of the most successful learning devices in Africa, and it's called Success Tab. Please do me the honors to just show the slide. I shall just run through a couple of things. Now, what Success Tab does is digitizes everything a child needs to learn and provides it in the classroom. Slide 1 just shows you how the device looks like, and these are the benefits of Success Tab. Students can, acquire digital skills. They can do the exam preparation and the likes. In 2007, my final year project in university was using computers to take JAMB examinations. That was 7 years before JAMB went CBT. Now, just this year, the federal government has mandated that all exams go CBT. So we literally saw this coming way back 16, 17 years ago. And we have built a product to help students, educators, and stakeholders maximize students' performance and go on to excel. With Success Tab as well, beyond just the academic resources, what we did also was that we infused artificial intelligence, robotics, and learning. So apart from WAEC past questions, 25 years already on Success Tab, apart from 20 years JAMB past questions inside Success Tab, apart from Becky examinations about 15 years inside Success Tab, we also have a robust collection of resources that enable students to learn engagingly and innovatively. So with Success Tabs, your students will be able to build a robot, create amazing websites, and go on to do what they call build mobile apps and deploy to Play Store directly from Success Tab. Now, why are we doing that? To ensure that they're not just gathering academic knowledge, but also gathering digital skills to make them relevant in the 21st century. Next slide. Now, I haven't talked about that. We understand that innovation in teaching and learning are gravitating towards mobile technology ahead of the laptop. So with Success Tab, they have longer battery life when fully charged. They have close to 9 hours to 10 hours when it's fully charged. So when it's fully charged, the whole of school day time, they have the device. Now, the device is designed in such a way that what we did carefully, this is how Success Tab looks like. Portable, flexible, it comes with a keyboard leather case. Now, in addition to all other resources, they can do Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel. So it's a complete resource, not just for the academic work, but also for their development work and the likes. Then, most recently, we integrated AI into Success Tab, and we built our own GPT for education, we call it Smart GPT. Now, what this Smart GPT does is curate LLMs and engagement smart learning for children and for students and for teachers everywhere. Now, with that said, next slide. With that said, we have, of course, different models, different capacities as we go on. You can go next. Where are we coming from and what have we done? This is very critical for us. During the pandemic, one of the states in the country reached out to us and said, what can we do to ensure that students do very well? Schools was locked up for 8 solid weeks, and they had 3 weeks to go and write their WAEC examination. The commissioner of that state reached out to me, and her director of basic education is right here in the hall, in the front row. Mr. Debayo. He can attest to that. And we're called upon to have intervention in that state. So I told the commissioner, I said, I know the students have been at home for 8 weeks and they have just 3 weeks to write their WAEC examinations. But these are what they're going to do. There is a particular product in Success Tab called Success Box. We developed it in 2011, 14 years ago now. We said, release this Success Box to all students in Lagos State to help them prepare for their examinations. And I can guarantee you that their results while they were locked down in their homes were better than when they were all open in schools. And she thought it was a joke. She put me on national TV to repeat the same thing, and I did. And when the result came out, it was astonishing. The result, while the students were at home, was better than when it was marginal anyway. Then the next year, this is exactly what happened next year. That state went from 38% pass rate to 79% pass rate. So we are not just talking what it's silos, what we have done, and what we can do in Kaduna State, in all other states represented in this call. Next slide. In addition to that, we delivered the first premium learning device in Lagos State government in 2022. And we launched the largest digital classroom, a co-success cloud that can hold 10 million students concurrently on our cloud. And I was speaking to some of the dignitaries. We have a package for all SS3 students in Kaduna State. I only reveal that to the commissioner when I get to meet with him afterwards. And 2 years in a row, Success Tab won the Educational Hardware of the Year Award, 2021 and 2022. Then, of course, we were awarded the Governor's Platinum Award after that innovation, and it was all over the news. Then in 2023, Success Tab was endorsed for teaching and learning for every student and schools in Lagos State. Till today, we are the only learning device that have achieved that feat. Next slide. So this exactly Joint Success Revolution, that was about to start. And very, very soon, we're going to be launching this. We are bringing all students into a portal to engage at a very high level. Next slide. So in the tablet, you have your books categorized, and every content on Success Tab runs offline. So you don't need internet access to learn. That's one. We built a smart reader capacity that enables that when you activate your Success Tab, the students will learn irregardless of whether they have internet connection or not. All the content that domestic. We talked about the award we have mentioned already. Next slide. And this was when we were honored by the state government. We got the highest award for education intervention. Students moved from 39% pass rate to 79% pass rate. Public school students, not private school, public school students analyzed. And we had a dashboard presented that we're able to use our AI and DI capability to predict what WAEC result will be before the WAEC result comes out. So we went to the commissioner and said, the next year, Mr. Debayo can remember when I had a meeting with the PEMSEC and said, this is exactly what the WAEC result will look like next year. And it came inch perfect. That's exactly what the capability of our dashboard will be. Finally, as we close, we want to say that, next slide, we want to say quickly that we know that this device can transform teaching and learning in your schools, for your parents, for your children, and for your teachers. We are here just behind. You can engage us. We'll do a typical demo for you on engaging with the device in your school, to your students, and across board. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that you need Success Tab in your schools and state. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Success Tab. Thank you very much. Yeah, so now just to refresh our minds again, we are here. Why are we here? We are here. Kaduna State government embarked on education reforms from 2016 to date. And it wasn't just a cosmetic reform. It was a root and branch reform. It started with data. How do we get the data of our education right? It went to teacher reforms. How can we get our teachers right, or get the right teachers in our classrooms? It then went on to assessing learning.